Hello and welcome to Kedrick Farms. We're here taking a look at a new mod that is going to be released soon by Perma's modding. This is the crop duster mod that he's been working on, and I'm really excited to take a look at this as it's something that's really unique and different in the game. You don't see flying mods very often in Farming Simulator. So before we jump in and kind of play around with this mod some, let's take a quick look at the store. And so you're going to find this mod in the vehicles section under crop protection. And you can see here, it's the AT-602. And the key stats to point out here are, one, that it has a 13-meter working area. It's going to be able to use either fertilizer or herbicide. Now, typically for a crop duster like this, I think that herbicide would probably be the more natural use. I think that, in real life, you see these getting used for either some kind of herbicide or pesticide application after the crop has already grown up to a point that you wouldn't typically want to run a machine through the field itself. However, I'm not an expert on crop dusters. I've never actually gotten a chance to talk to anybody who's used one in real life. So let's take a look at the options that are available here on this mod. To start out with, you can choose the main color of your plane. Since we've already got a yellow one out there, we'll go ahead and make this one white. And then you're also going to be able to choose both the main stripe color. So we'll come in here and pick Kedrick Green, and a secondary stripe color. So we'll pick Junt Red for that. And you can see it gives it kind of a nice options there. You can change those to any color you want. And then you also have the ability to set the color of your identification code here on the side of the plane. If you want to go for something, realistic, you can get your appropriate identification codes here, or really you're going to be able to set this to anything that you want, since you have 6 characters here to play with. There we go. That looks better. I'm sure that's an FAA approved identification code. So now let's take a look at the mod itself. As you can see here, this is a pretty detailed mod. It looks really nice. You've got all your individual spray nozzles here. You've got some fair detail on the wings. And if we hop inside of it here, go into the cab, you can see that we've got a fairly detailed cab as well, with lots of dials and such. And if we go to the external mode, you can see that we've got our running lights here on the side. So you've got your green and red like you'd expect. We also have a nose light here, which I'm not sure how much flying in the dark you're going to want to do, because this only illuminates a little bit in front of you, but it could come in handy. And then we've also got dash lights here, where the dash will light up all red, especially in the dark. We'll take a closer look at that once we get flying here. And so let's go ahead and start this up. And one of the things that I like about this mod is it's got some pretty decent sound effects. And so once started here, if I turn my HUD back on, what you're going to notice is in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see that it comes up with a little indicator that you're now in hover mode, I guess, in this vehicle, where you're going to be able to use the WSAD keys and the mouse left and right to control your plane. Now, unfortunately, we don't have real flight mechanics in FS19, and so this is going to operate in more of a hover mode. So I guess I would think of, say, a drone or something that's flying around. And so to demonstrate that, I can use the left mouse button and go straight up. I can use the right mouse button and go straight down. And so this is unfortunately just a limitation of where we're at currently in FS19 and being able to get vehicles to fly. But once you get used to using the controls, you can do a fair job of simulating actual flight. So let's go ahead and take off, and we'll demonstrate the spraying mechanics of this crop duster. So once we get going here, I'm just going to use the mouse buttons to adjust my altitude a little bit, and we're going to fly out here and go around this building and come back in and spray into this field that we started at. Now, as I mentioned, the mechanics for Flying is very much the hover mode, and so you'll see that I keep my sideways momentum as I start to turn. And so what I generally recommend is to just slow down quite a bit. Just take your finger off of the, what you would think of as the accelerator in standard FS vehicle terms, and let your vehicle kind of get adjusted before you start trying to go in a new direction. And then here, as we come into this field, I'm going to go ahead and turn on our sprayer. And you can see here, if I zoom out, that we've got a fairly good spray pattern here. That's a 18-meter spray pattern. And we can just fly along here and continue to spray our ground. Now, normally, again, you would spray a field that had actually growing crops, but I'm using this empty field just to be able to demonstrate the width of the spray pattern and be able to see where and how we're flying. And so much like we did on the other end, I recommend just kind of coming in a little bit slow in your approach so that you don't turn too far out like I'm doing here. But as you can see, we're able to do a pretty fair job of getting lined up here and running up and down these big fields. So occasionally when using this script, you may end up in a situation like I've got demonstrated here, where you might have crashed into something and you're now kind of stuck at an awkward angle. All you have to do is take your hands off of the controls and give it a second, and it'll reset back to its normal position. And so that's kind of a cool feature. And so the last thing I wanted to show off here real quick is the lighting in the dark. And so you can see here, we've got our nose lights and the wing lights here. And also, if we jump into the cockpit, you can see that we've got a fully red lit up dashboard. So that's pretty cool. If we do fire this up here and kind of jump into flight mode, I'll just show off the fact that while this nose light does work, and if you find yourself out in the dark and it's happened to get dark while you were flying around, you are going to be able to see to potentially land, but Farm Sim is notoriously dark, so trying to operate with just this nose light in the dark, you can see as you gain elevation, the light effects dissipate pretty quickly, and by the time you see a tree or a building in front of you with these lights, it's probably going to be too late, which I think is probably pretty realistic to how flying a plane in the dark in a wooded area like this at this low of altitude would actually go. So super excited to see this level of detail though on a mod. And so with that, we're going to wrap up this quick preview of an upcoming mod by Perma's Modding. I think this is just a really cool thing to see in the game. It may not be perfect. Sure, I would love to have actual plane flight mechanics in the game. However, for me, it's just really fun to see modders continue to push the boundaries of what Farm Sim can do. This is definitely doing that, and it's a pretty detailed mod to boot. So, huge shout out to Perma's Modding for giving me early access to this mod and letting me share his progress with all of you. Head on over to his Facebook page, which is linked in the description, to follow along for the release of this mod, which should be coming soon. That's all for today. Keterk, out. Oh god, no, I pushed the wrong button. That was not the up button. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're spiraling out of control.